Hello, friends. It's Valerie Ling here. I'm coming to you today to talk to you about a couple of conversations I've had today about auxiliary staff and support staff. But before I talk to you, let me show you how I'm actually doing this. I am actually doing this with my blanket, and Teddy is desperately trying to signal that he would like a cuddle. All right, up. We get. Oi, that's a lot of fur. Okay, back to me. um, yes, so don't forget your auxiliary staff and your team. It's really, really important at this point in time to remember that post COVID is not yet. And so there's this next level of uncertainty now as we get the drip feed information of restrictions opening and what that means in terms of people spilling out. So it's a little bit like this. When it was a shutdown situation, it was containment, right? The message was containment. And from an anxiety perspective, it helps with a sense of safety and security when we reduce our exposure and we are giving a united message, right? A policed united message that we are containing things and taking measures to do that. Now, the issue here is that with the restrictions opening up, we are not really that united in our point of view because we are not all at the same position or point of view. Teddy. uh, in terms of what is safety, what is best practice, what is feasible, what is practical. And so as a result, that uncertainty spills over then to anxiety and probably fear. And when people feel helpless and not in control, they are going to feel similar things as to if they were feeling traumatized. So it's a little bit like being on a train that previously was chugging along, even though it wasn't a very comfortable ride. But you were chugging along and the tracks were there and you're moving along. And for some people, it actually is going to feel like the tracks have been removed and there could be a cliff. And because our team, our auxiliary team, our administrative team, our support team are on the ground, they are also trying to make sense of how they shift the way that they do things to accommodate change. So here are my top tips. Number one, we need to talk to our auxiliary and support team about what your thoughts are. We need to be able to give them some sense of certainty, at least as far as you can see in your context. Number two, we need to check in with them. That's our Uber Eats, and that's my dog going a little bit. Our dog has anxiety. Oh, Teddy. Okay. Number two. Number two. Oh, dear. I'll have to come back. Oh, no, this is all right. Number two. We're going to need to actually check in with them. Thank you for the laugh. Yeah, it's funny, but not that funny for us sometimes. Check in as to what's happening with them because it's concentric circles, really. All of this information is impacting them as human beings. There are going to be some who are going to be very nervous about taking public transport. There are going to be some who are very nervous about how they're going to front. If you have clients or customers or patients, they're going to be very anxious and guilty for coming back to work if they have to, worrying about bringing things back because it is now an uncontained situation. So we need to check in with them what's happening in their personal realm as well in terms of concentric circles of pressure and anxiety. The third thing I would suggest is they actually need an opportunity to somehow communicate and gather and debrief on a regular basis. Whereas before you were communicating regularly about what does this mean in terms of shutting down, now we will need some time to regularly communicate about saying it's okay to not know. what can we do? What is the best way for us to mitigate risk in our context, right? So being able to articulate how we can mitigate risk and being able to show that you can take perspective and point of view and collaboratively work through this is really helpful, because anxiety and trauma in this situation leaves an imprint. Let me say that again. Anxiety and trauma in this situation leaves an imprint. We will remember the situation in how we were led and how we were heard in times to come. And that forms the basis of whether it's going to bolster trust and confidence and credibility, or whether it introduces a vulnerability to that confidence. So be aware that for those of us on the ground who do not see and do not feel like they can control outcomes and major decisions, being able to have and contribute to even small spaces and yet significant spaces increases a sense of control, increases a sense of community, and fosters a sense of confidence and trust at this point in time. All right, I think I'll better go and have dinner. See ya.